There's something about dogs that defies explanation, and yet here we are, trying anyway. Because if any creature on this planet deserves our attempt to understand them, to really see them, it's dogs. They've been with us for so long that their story is woven into ours, thread by thread, generation by generation, until you can't tell where human history ends and dog history begins. Let's start at the beginning, though the beginning is murky and lost to time. Somewhere between 15 and 40,000 years ago, wolves and humans made a deal. Nobody knows exactly how it happened. Maybe a wolf pack started following hunters, eating their scraps. Maybe human children found wolf pups and couldn't resist those eyes. Maybe it was mutual, both species recognizing something useful, something necessary in the other. What we do know is this: it changed everything. Those wolves became something new, something that had never existed before. They became dogs. And from that single partnership, an explosion of diversity emerged that would make your head spin. Today, there are over 300 recognized dog breeds, each one sculpted by human hands and human needs. The tiny Chihuahua, trembling in a handbag, shares DNA with the massive Great Dane that could wear that same handbag as a collar charm. That's the miracle of dogs, their genetic plasticity, their willingness to become whatever we needed them to be. Think about the working dogs first. The herders, like border collies, who move sheep with an intensity that borders on obsession. Their eyes locked, their bodies low, channeling the hunting instinct of their wolf ancestors, but stopping just short of the kill. Or the retrievers, Labradors, and Goldens bred to have mouths so soft they can carry an egg without breaking it. Dogs who live to please will swim through ice-cold water just to bring you back a duck you shot. There are sled dogs, like Huskies and Malamutes, built for the brutal Arctic. Their double coats protecting them from temperatures that would kill a human in minutes. Their joy in running so pure it borders on spiritual. Then there are the Guardians, Mastiffs that can weigh 200 pounds, bred to protect estates and intimidate intruders just by existing. German Shepherds, the police dog, the military dog, intelligent enough to learn complex commands, loyal enough to die protecting their handler. Rottweilers, misunderstood and maligned, were actually gentle giants with their families, but won't let a stranger cross the threshold uninvited. The hunting dogs deserve their own category because they're so wildly diverse. Beagles, with noses so powerful they can track a scent that's days old, their mournful howls echoing through forests. Pointers and setters, who freeze mid-step when they smell game, becoming living statues. Dachshunds, yes. Those little hot dog-shaped comedians were actually bred to hunt badgers, to crawl into underground burrows and drag out animals with teeth and claws and fury. That's why they're shaped like that. Form follows function always. And the terriers. Oh, the terriers. Jack Russells, Fox Terriers, Scottish Terriers. Small dogs with massive personalities, bred to hunt vermin, to kill rats in barns, to be fearless in the face of things much larger than themselves. They have no idea they're small. In their minds, they're giants, they're warriors. And honestly, who's going to tell them different? But not all dogs were bred to work. Some were bred purely for companionship, and there's something beautiful about that. The Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, named after a king who loved them so much he brought them everywhere, who wrote them into laws. The pug, with its smashed face and curly tail, bred in ancient China to sit on the laps of emperors. The Shih Tzu, whose name literally means lion dog, though the only thing they'll hunt is the warmest spot on your couch. Here's where it gets complicated, though, where our love for dogs has sometimes led us astray. Because in our quest to create the perfect dog, we've sometimes created suffering. We've bred bulldogs with faces so flat they can barely breathe. We've created German Shepherds with hips that fail them in middle age. We've made Dachshunds with backs so long they're prone to paralysis. We've taken dogs and sculpted them into living art, sometimes forgetting they need to be living animals first. But dogs forgive us. That's what they do. They forgive us for the puppy mills and the breed standards that hurt them. They forgive us when we leave them alone for 8 hours while we work. They forgive us when we forget to walk them, when we yell at them for being essentially dogs. They wait by the door, and when we finally come home, they act like we've returned from war, like we're heroes, like we're everything. The thing about dogs is they exist in the present in a way humans never can. They don't worry about tomorrow's vet appointment or grieve over the toy they lost last month. When they're happy, they're completely happy. When they're scared, they're entirely scared. They feel everything at full volume all the time. It's exhausting just watching them sometimes. That tail-wagging, face-licking, full-body enthusiasm when you walk in the door, that's not an act. That's pure, undiluted joy. You went away, and now you're back. And that's the best thing that's ever happened in the history of things happening. Science has tried to explain the bond between humans and dogs. They found that when we look into each other's eyes, both species release oxytocin, the love hormone, the same one that floods a mother's brain when she looks at her baby. We've literally evolved to love each other on a chemical level. Dogs have developed muscles around their eyes specifically to make those puppy dog expressions that we can't resist. They've learned to read our faces better than any other animal, sometimes better than we read each other. They know what a pointed finger means. They can tell when we're sad. They bring us their toys when we cry, offering us the things they love most in the world because they want to make it better. And maybe that's what dogs really are. When you strip away all the breeds and the purposes and the science, they're creatures who chose us, who decided thousands of years ago that their fate was tied to ours. They're animals who became something more than animals through relationship, through partnership, through love that crosses species lines. Every dog, from the 3-pound Yorkie to the 200-pound Newfoundland, carries that ancient contract in their DNA. They're here because we're here. They're part of our families, our homes, our lives in ways that would seem bizarre if we stopped to think about it. We let them sleep in our beds. We buy them Christmas presents. We take more photos of them than of our own relatives. We cry harder when they die than when most humans pass away. And they give us something we can't find anywhere else: unconditional presence. Non-judgmental companionship. A reason to get up in the morning and go outside and move our bodies and laugh at the ridiculous things they do. They give us someone to talk to who'll never talk back, but somehow always understands. They give us a creature who thinks we're perfect exactly as we are, even though we're manifestly not. All the dogs explained. Maybe they can't be explained. Maybe that's the point. Maybe some relationships transcend explanation and exist in a space beyond words. In the space between a hand and a head, a leash and a walk, a throw and a fetch. Maybe dogs aren't here to be understood. Maybe they're here to be loved. And they've been succeeding at that for 15,000 years.